He's gone missing, but his headscarf survived. Did he demanifest? I mean, bloody hell. Bloody passports that are found next to Ground Zero that have come out of a plane that firebombed a building. Bloody hell. Korans left everywhere. I don't know. Why don't they take them with them? I reckon they were the Islamic version of the Gideons. I think they did it. I think they did it. I blame them. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And more people, even academics, left-brain academics, are looking at the left-brain version of this and saying, don't make sense, mate. And it don't. And this was a poster I found on the internet, which may be real or may be right. It looks real to me with the trees in the background. But on September the 11th, ask yourself, when history repeats, do we notice? It was the Nazis that burnt down the German Parliament building and blamed someone else to justify introducing the fascist state, in effect, in Germany. There you go. The war on terror is a war by terrorists to get us to succumb to the terrorists. Inside job. And more people are beginning to understand that. Hallelujah. And because they're creating problems which they can put solutions to, you find the same people turning up with the problem and the solution quite often. This is 1983. This is Donald Rumsfeld, who on behalf of the Father Bush-Reagan administration was going to meet Saddam Hussein to arrange the shipment from America of biological and chemical weapons to Iraq to use against the Iranians, and these were used against the Kurds. Oh, we've got to stop Saddam Hussein. He used chemical weapons against the Kurds. Yes, the buggers you gave him. This is how it works. Don't take my word for it. This is official documents. This is a report on the release of these documents in 2002, I think it was. Donald Rumsfeld, the U.S. Defense Secretary and one of the most strident critics of Saddam Hussein, met the Iraq president in 1983 to ease the way for U.S. companies to sell biological and chemical weapons, including anthrax and bubonic plague cultures, according to newly declassified U.S. government documents. And then he says, they've got chemical weapons, stop Saddam Hussein, we must invade. He was on the board of this European engineering giant called ABB in 2000 when they sold nuclear technology to North Korea. When he became defense secretary in the Bush administration, he said, North Korea is a threat to the world because they've got nuclear technology. This is how it works. Create the problem, offer the solution. Then we've got this guy. This guy was pulled out of Saudi Arabia to front up the Mujahideen fight against the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan, funded by the Saudi royal family, by America, by Britain. The Mujahideen were taken to America to, as I've documented in books and other talks, to be trained in terrorism operations. The British military sent people to train them, and they then became the terrorists that we're supposed to give our freedoms away to fight. And a few years ago, well, actually very, very much more recently than that, maybe about a year ago, this guy, Zbigniew Brzezinski, who was the national security advisor in the Carter administration up to 1979, or 1980 actually, he admitted publicly that he had orchestrated to manipulate the Soviets to invade Afghanistan because he wanted to cause them a major problem, and then had they started to create the resistance to that invasion, which caught the Soviet Union in that spider's web. Guess who the main person behind I'm against war, Barack Obama is? Zbigniew Brzezinski. I want change. I wish you did, mate. I wish you bloody did. Another frontman, another bullshitter, another person who's selling you a cover story. But so are the other two, mind. So are the other two. We have choice. We've got freedom. So what we're looking at is the secret agenda unfolding through history, and it's playing out a movie version of events. The past part of the movie we call official history, which is keeping us from what's actually happening. Another connection, or another coordinate in terms of the way we're manipulated to this end, I've called the totalitarian tiptoe. That's when you know you're going there, stage Z, and you're here, stage A, and you know that if you go in one leap, the change is going to be so much. People are going to say, what's going on? What's going on? Never mind Paris Hilton in the back of that car. What's going on? Because the change is so great. So what they do is tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. And as a result of that, in steps, as big as they can get away with, but as little not to cause too much resistance and reaction, they go along the road that they want. That's how we went from a free trade area to the super state we call today the European Union. Stepping stones. And this poster I came across, very true. Fascism. You think it'll be this obvious. But it's starting to get that obvious to awake people, but to people who are not awake, it's not that obvious because it's done in stepping stones. Although, increasingly, it's not the totalitarian tiptoe, it's the totalitarian sprint these days. Another coordinate. To create this situation where people are locked in this vibrational prison and are not decoding the vast range of frequencies they could, therefore opening their awareness, sell them a religion. Or sell them something to believe. Might not be an official religion, bricks and mortar religion as my father used to call it, as long as it's a belief system. But the religions, of course, are the most obvious belief system. Once you take on a belief, that belief starts editing what you decode. And you start to enter a mind prison with the walls of the belief being the prison walls. This is a Neil Haig picture. These represent the different religions, and what they're doing is all worshipping the same God or gods in truth. The original religions of these ancient societies obviously went with the people as they located in other areas of the world. Indeed, it was a global society anyway. And it's based, the reptilian religions, if you like, are based on the moon and the sun, the moon goddess and the sun god, overwhelmingly. And they come in many and various forms. All these different religions are based on this same principle while claiming to be different. And these religions came out of these areas of the world that we have seen earlier, is where the bloodlines came out of to a very large extent. This area I've called the religion factory, because that's where most of the major ones came from. Out of this same area came Judaism, came Christianity, came Islam, came Hinduism, and goodness knows how many in between. And these religions, all based on sun and goddess worship and the reptilian gods, when you decode it, went with the bloodlines out across the world, taking this with